I want to let you know you're already the top 10% out there. It's crazy, but the competition is not steep out there. And literally, it was an aha moment for me that, man, the majority of the world does not want to win. And I realized that today at the show. The majority of the world does not want to win. She went to 2 job postings. She didn't get the job. This is the 3rd one and she got it. Like, who else out there is helping somebody find a job to qualify for a damn deal? It's wicked stuff. So I was at the Rocket Show, and I'm just going to tell you some things that were on my mind being at the show. Okay, 500 people. I set up a booth there. I'm giving out 10 keys of leadership books, 10 keys of sales books, the planners, and I'm not charging for these books. I'm giving them out, but I'm trying to make it fun, and I'm making a game out of these books. And the game is, if you're a salesperson, you have to guess 3 keys out of the 10 of a top salesperson, and if you guess 3 keys right, you get the book. And if you're a leader, you have to guess 3 keys out of the 10 keys of leadership inside the book of a great leader. And if you get them right, you get the gift bag and the books and everything for free. And as I'm running through this activity, there was a lot of eye-opening moments for me. The first eye-opening moment is people that come, okay, they come from all around the country to this show, which is supposed to be for growth. You're already flying out, you're leaving your family, you're sacrificing time. And the first reason they come is for free items. They see items, they see gift bags, they draws them to the table. Okay, that's fine. We like free stuff. Free stuff brings people in. If you're ever doing an event, do a raffle, bring free stuff, collect information. It's a great thing to do to draw people in. That's all fine. But as soon as we told some of these people, we had the camera out, hey, you got to answer 3 questions for us, or you got to answer 3 keys for us. Are you a salesperson or leader? If they say sales, give us 3 keys of a great salesperson, 3 keys of a great leader. A lot of these people that own businesses and broker shops, when we asked them for 3 keys for a leader, it took them 3-4 minutes scratching their head to figure out what 3 things a great leader has. So that's like an eye-opening moment for me. It's like, if you're a leader and you're running a business, how don't you know 3, 4, 5, 10 things off the top of your head that a great leader, you yourself, you should be a great leader already, should be doing? For the salespeople, a little quicker. Salespeople were actually quicker than the leaders to give answers. But even some of them were stumbling on some of the things that made them special. And we asked an additional question, why should I work with you? And this question had literally, people were freezing at this question. Why? So tell me this, why should I work with you and nobody else? And I passed the microphone and people were frozen. They didn't have any answers. And when you think about what we do in sales, one of the most important things that we do as salespeople is differentiate ourselves from everybody else. We should have a personal custom brand. Whenever somebody tells you, why should I work with you? You should be able to spit out 3-4 bullets right away of what makes you different, what separates you, and why you're the obvious choice. Maybe they're there for growth, right? And maybe they want to learn, and that's why they took the books, and that's great. I'm with you. Let's stay positive on this. They took the free items and they went away. Now, a lot of these people that took the free items, I watched them, they would skip presentations. They would hang out outside. They were there for free lunch and free items. And I want to tell you, inside of your life, if you ever go to a show or you go to a networking event, the number one thing you need to do is don't be somebody that hides in the shadows. Don't be somebody that's window shopping around for free items. Like, they're sitting here grabbing bags and pens and suckers and going to somewhere to grab Kit Kats off a table. What are we doing? Are we there for growth? Or are we there for Kit Kats? And I noticed at least 50% of the people, that's the bucket I would put them in. I want to let you know you're already the top 10% out there. It's crazy, but the competition is not steep out there. And literally, it was an aha moment for me that, man, the majority of the world does not want to win. And I realized that today at the show. The majority of the world does not want to win. So let's keep going on what else happened. So we get to the stage. On stage, I'm trying to make it interactive, make it fun, call on people. So one of the questions I asked people was, who here is a business owner? People raised their hands. Who here has loan originators originating loans while you're here at the show? A lot of them raised their hands. Then I said, who would allow me the chance to call one of your originators as a client here live on stage on speaker and see how they respond? And out of 100 hands that were up, 2 were left up, and everybody else whoosh. Now, I'm telling you guys this so you guys know what the competition is out there. These people they're at a show. They have an opportunity for me to give them a free phone call for their mortgage company or their realtor company, to give them feedback live. They have a chance to figure out the hard truth of what's going on while you're not there. And they all rush to put their hand down. Why? In fear of rejection, in fear of being embarrassed, not in hopes of, well, let me get some feedback, not in hopes of, Let me see if what I'm doing is actually working. So, anyways, two gentlemen raise their hand. I call on one of them. Very brave gentleman. This is one of them that I consider like us, right? He's there for growth. He comes up to the stage, gives me one girl's number to call, office number. She doesn't answer. The voicemail wasn't set up. I gave him feedback on that. The second phone call, he gives me another phone call. We call the gentleman. I tell the gentleman that I'm a referral from the owner. He tells me, yeah, the owner's at the show. I say, oh, okay, really? Yeah, well, I was working with one more person. I wanted to get a comparison, make sure I'm not getting a bad deal and you could do better. He said, what were you offered? I said, I was offered a 5.99. Could you beat it? He said, send me over a loan estimate. I'll see what I could do. And he hung up. And this is live on stage in front of everybody. Now, I don't think it's the gentleman's fault necessarily because number one, the gentleman's the only one that stood up to do this. But I think that the majority of people out there are sounding like this on the phones. And that's the point I was trying to prove. There was no excitement that I was a referral. There was no excitement that you had an inbound call. There was no confidence. There was no brand. There was no like 599. Like, yeah, that's a pretty competitive rate. But here's what I'll tell you. I'm going to do my very best to beat it. And if I can't, I'm going to get super close. And I know that you came from the owner, so you're definitely going to be in good hands. But tell me, what were your goals in getting this mortgage? What were your goals in purchasing? What were your goals in refinancing? What's changed in your life? There was no pivoting, taking control, building a relationship. As a matter of fact, there was no focus on the relationship at all. And I played that call to show people this is the competition right now. And then I told that gentleman, you need to get some Acez Academy training in there, script up your people, start doing call reviews, start having some better leadership, relationships, one-on-ones, accountability, training, scripts, structures, ways that you guys do things. So that way there's a standard there. And, maybe we'll work with them and help them out. But two people raised their hands out of plenty of owners. When I called on people to give their personal brands, one person was recruiting. He said his biggest struggle is recruiting. I said, show me how you recruit. He told me that he tells people, well, look, I'm just starting off and things are going to be, difficult and you're going to have to work hard. I said, it sounds like you're taking me down a muddy alley. Why would I want to work for you? Instead of saying like, we're just starting off, we're not as big as others. And I acknowledge that. But here's what I'll tell you. If you're one of the first to start with us, here's what's in it for you. And painting a vision for somebody and showing them how they could grow with your company. Then I told somebody else, give me another introduction, for somebody that calls realtors. What's your introduction for realtors? He tells me my introduction for realtors is I call them and say like, look, I'm going to get to know you and your goals. Do you have 30 minutes for me so I could learn about you? I said, the first thing you're telling somebody in a world that has no time in it, and time is the most valuable currency and time is money. The first thing you're saying is, do you have 30 minutes for me? The only realtor that's going to give you 30 minutes is a realtor that has 30 minutes. Any realtor that has 30 minutes is not successful. And then I go to somebody else who does lead buys and I say, what is your introduction? And they're like, well, I get a warm transfer. I'm like, then why are you raising your hand? That's not an introduction. You're getting a warm transfer. What's your introduction after the warm transfer? Well, I just tell them like, hi, my mortgage company. And I go straight into asking questions. So like, this is what we're working with out there. And it was very, very mind-boggling to me that it's one thing to come there for growth, but out of those people that had, shitty responses or didn't do the best, none of them came to me after the show and asked, hey, what's your feedback? Hey, what do you recommend? Hey, what book should I read? Hey, how do I join the academy? Hey, how do I do this? Like the level of even growth is not there. It's like most of these people out there in your industry have already given up on themselves. They're not trying to go the extra mile. They don't want anything else. So I guess the whole reason I'm venting to all of you that are on this call, because I want to let you know that you could be the top of your game right now. You could be the top of your industry right now. And honestly, having these calls and having me should be very, very powerful to you because you could ask me any question you want, anytime you want, I'll give you the sauce. Last week, I shared for you my automated campaigns, and I just submitted $7 million in volume last month. In 30 days, I submitted $7 million on a 30-day experiment for a company. So I know what's possible out there, and I'm trying to teach you what's possible. And I'm glad that you guys are part of this group, and I want to let you know that you have the most potential because you're part of this group and because you're trying to grow. So what do we do now with all this potential? What does all this mean? Well, it means we have to do the work. So as I think to myself and I jot down on this piece of paper, what does do the work mean? What does it mean to reach sales success? So I go look at my pipeline. I look at the best companies I'm training right now that have the biggest increases in volume. I look at the top performers in my academy. And then I start looking at my own business and what I did last month. And I'm even thinking about the show. And I'm thinking about my morning. And I'm thinking about my family. And I'm thinking about the fact that I'm flying to Vegas tomorrow to do another show. And I'm thinking of the fact that my wife is pregnant with twins. And I'm thinking of the fact that I have a lot of bills. And I'm thinking of the fact that I have a lot of obligation. I'm thinking of everything personally internally in my business, internally in my personal life, externally outside there in my academy with my other company, my top performers, everything all encompassed. Here's what I think success is going to boil down for you right now for the rest of the year. I also ask people, by the way, how'd you do on your goals so far? It's halfway through the year. Nobody knew their goals for the year. Nobody even knew how they're doing towards their goals for the year. It's already July. The year's flying by. Time's flying by because information is flying by. Like right now would be a great time to reevaluate. Right now, start today and make 5-month goals for the rest of the year and make a ladder for every goal. And there's a whole formula we go over. I would go back and do that if you're not on top of your goals still. And if you are you pacing to hit them? If you are, keep going or raise them. Are you not pacing at all to hit them? Lower them and reevaluate how you're going to get there. And if you stop focusing on them at all, you got to figure out a plan to start focusing on them right now. Because if you change nothing, nothing will change. The first thing I wrote down to reach top sales success right now, excuse my French, judgment. Judgment in all aspects. We're so scared and fearful to make the phone call, to ask for a referral, to shake somebody's hand in public, to raise your hand out there for a call review, to go up on stage, to answer some questions on a camera. All this fearful stuff, if you want to live in the shadows and you want to be fearful for others, that's 100% fine. But there is nobody that's massively successful in sales, leadership, business that I personally know that lives in the shadows. They're out there. And you know what I say about people that judge? You can't even judge them back because they have nothing to be judged on. I'll give you an example. I spoke today and I spoke yesterday. Today, the agenda got changed because there was a rainstorm going on in Detroit. So some of the tours got canceled, schedules got turned around. My time got switched where I was speaking. Nobody knew. And now I'm like, oh shit. I have to speak. Time got changed. I have 20 minutes on my speech. It's lunchtime. Everyone's eating. What do I do? And I have somebody with a video camera following me. And I told them like, man, should I go to every single table while people are eating lunch and tell them, hey, the time got changed. Make sure you come out to this show and literally go to 100 tables with 10 people on every table and go tell them this? I walked over there to do it. My camera guy stayed behind at the booth. As I walked over there, I was going to the first table to say something and I turned around. Why? Fear of judgment. I turned around and I walked back to my camera guy. And he's like, what happened? You gave up? I said, no, but I want to say something. It's uncomfortable to go talk to these people. They're eating lunch. I'm going to be annoying. They probably don't want to be bothered. A lot of them are going to think I'm a prick. I said all of these negative things. And at the end, I said, so let's go fucking do it. And I literally faced the fear head on. I went to every table. Hey, just want to let you know the show times got changed. You have to be in the auditorium at 1:30. Don't miss this presentation. Hey, just so you know, the show times got changed. You have to be at this presentation. Don't miss it. And I went table to table to table to table. Everyone's looking at me while everyone's eating. I'm the only one walking around the cafeteria telling people to make sure they make it to the show. And that's an example of like, what are they going to say? Oh, look at this guy not letting me eat my lunch. He wants me to come to his presentation. Oh, look at this guy. He wants to make sure I come to his present. Like, what are they going to say? And why am I scared for what they're going to say? And that's one example of judgment. Oh, I don't want to call somebody this late. Forget judgment. Call them. Oh, I don't want to call somebody this early. Forget judgment. Call them. I don't want to call somebody on a Sunday. Like, no, I'm probably one of the only people working on a Sunday, sir. So, I mean, I'm working here for you. The first person I thought about today on a Sunday when I woke up is you. Everything can be flipped and used to your leverage. So are you in a place in your life where you don't fear any judgment, where you will ask for a referral, where you will recruit somebody in a grocery store, where you will ask an Uber driver what they have on their mortgage, where you will tell somebody at a restaurant, do you know anybody looking to purchase or sell? Are you at a place where you get on social media? Are you at a place where you speak on stage? Are you at a place where you go to a networking event and you put your hands and you go out there, even though it's uncomfortable, you still do it. You still do it because you understand that's what it takes to be successful. And you have to sacrifice to be successful. And that's what you're going to do. Number 2 thing I wrote down, expect all the obstacles. I'm all about affirmation, visualization. I love the positivity and I'm very positive and I try to stay positive. But I also have a dark side that says like all this shit could fall apart at any second. And if it falls apart because of this, if nobody shows up to the presentation, if somebody tells me I'm eating lunch, jerk, I think of all these things happening. So every single time I do something, there's no surprises. There's no letdowns because I expect everything and I'm prepared for everything. And when you expect everything and you're prepared for everything, you're a very dangerous individual. If you get on a phone call and you expect rejection, and you prepare for rejection, and you know exactly what you're going to say when the rejection happens, then the rejection just happens and you're ready for it and you reply to it because you're already prepared for that rejection. If you speak on stage and you mess up, but you picture that you might mess up and people might laugh, and even if they laugh, you're going to go home and it's not going to matter, and you're going to learn and you're going to grow and you're going to do better, then you actually mess up inside your head. It's like, I remember thinking about this one. And it happened. And it's okay that it happened. I'm going to keep moving. If you're scared to approach that other person and ask a question because in your head you think they're going to tell you they're busy or they don't have time, then you envision them saying they're busy or they don't have time, and you go straight to them and you ask them that question. If they say, I'm busy and I don't have time, say, I thought you would say that. So could I get your phone number instead, or can I shoot you a text? Could we set up some time, or could I hit you up on Instagram? And you have a response ready to go. And this relates to sales directly, where in sales, you have to be ready for every single objection. And as a matter of fact, you have to expect the objections. Then you have to squash the objections. So any client I talk to, people ask me, how am I so quick to respond? I already think the client's a shopper, they're a waiter, they're a spouser. All of these things are already in my head for everybody I talk to. And because it's already in my head, there's not much you could tell me or do to me to shock me. You're shopping? Yeah, of course. I love shoppers. I shop myself. As a matter of fact, I'm a professional shopper for you. Your wife's on board, right? Well, let's go over her goals, because I like to make sure that the wife and the husband are both on board when I talk to them, because I'm married myself and I know how that works. Waiting is a great thing. Waiting right now is not the greatest thing. Let me tell you the reason why. I'm squashing these objections. I'm bringing them up before the client even brings them up, so there's nothing left for them to object. Why? Because I'm prepared for it. I'm expecting the worst, but I'm affirming the best. But I'm still ready for the worst while I'm affirming the best. And it's kind of like manifestation to the fullest, but also blocking bad manifestation by expecting it, preparing for it, and squashing it. And then you take this philosophy, you start drawing it everywhere in your life. I had my son's birthday outside. Weather says it's raining. The whole birthday was planned outside. 50% rain. What are we going to do? What if it rains? I said, look, I'm expecting it to rain. I went and bought 4 20-feet tents, put them out there. They're folded up. As soon as the rain came, pop those open. We're ready for rain. We're ready for sun. We're ready for everything. Let's not think about it. We're just prepared for everything. My Tesla got a flat tire 3-4 times. I bought a air machine. I put it in my trunk. I got a spare tire now. Like, you go through things in life, you go through hurdles, then you got to learn from the hurdles. You say, all right, so I faced this. How do I not face it again? Or how do I prepare for it in case I face it again? Expect obstacles. People always quit right here. And if they would have kept going to right here, they would have made it. But nobody's going that far, because the obstacle hits them. Then what happens? They stop. As soon as they get the rejection, I'm done. As soon as they have a bad phone call on Sunday, I'm never working on Sunday again. As soon as they have a bad day when they work 14 hours, I'm never working 14 hours again. As soon as they spend a bunch of money on leads or marketing and it doesn't work, I'm done. Like David, who I brought on the show, the author of Project 369, I've been coaching him for 3-4 years. He opened 7 online stores and lost $80,000 until he finally made the Project 369 book and did $2 million in 1 year. $80,000 loss that nobody gets to because it's so disgusting and nasty and negative turned into a $2 million year. If he never made every single one of those failing online businesses, and the camera and the media and the ads and failing on the ads and paying people and failing and hiring and firing and new LLC, all those failures planted the success. Now his book has a bunch of different products. He has a community of 100,000 people. I mean, he's he's in the top 10 for self-development books on Amazon. All of this started from his obstacles. I'm a great example of that too. I'm here because of my obstacles. I was at Rocket Mortgage for 8 years. 2016, I went into the office to speak to the big man, talking about the man in charge of everything, the man that nobody reaches out to. Sent him an email. I said, hey, I'm very passionate about consulting. I've been a top banker here for 1.5 years. I know I could do consulting. Went and seen him, rejection. 6 months later, seen him again, rejection. Next year, seen him, got a slight chance. After that, started a boot camp for bankers. It worked out. Then I became a leader. Then I became a senior leader. As a senior leader, I go back. I want to be a consultant and go to different companies now. I don't only want to do mortgages. Got rejection. Went back, got rejection. Rejection. Did extra work, presentation after presentation, rejection. Finally, I turned into a leadership book club and I started consulting the leaders. Like, all of these things throughout my life were rejection. The gas station business was all rejection. You go to 10 stores, 9 of them tell you to F off and 1 of them says yes, and you saw $1,000 display. So my whole life, my mind's been conditioned to keep going for rejection. And if you could get yourself to a place like that, you'll be a very dangerous individual, because rejection will no longer faze you. Fuck judgment, expect obstacles. Number 3, prime your mind. I know like throughout all of our episodes and all of our weekly calls, we talk so much about priming your mind, but look, it's because it's very important to prime your mind. You can't do any of this and you can't be successful if your surroundings physically and your surroundings mentally are not strong. Meaning if you're with shitty people, or you have a family that holds you back, or you have people with bad mindsets, or people that think small, or people that are the judgmental people that don't raise their hands and don't go on stage, you're eventually going to be capped at your growth. Some people tell me, well, you know what, Ace, it's easy for you to say you have successful people in your circle. You've grown those connections. You have people to call. I don't. My best friends for years were books when I didn't have anybody. There's a leader that's struggling in another company. I gave him my 10 Keys of Leadership book. The book's 83 pages. I gave it to him 8 months ago. He hasn't read a page. He's still struggling with the same exact things. He hasn't read any books. The first rule I would have in my company for leaders is if you don't read, you can't be a leader. So how do you prime your mind? Well, like you read successful books so you could get inside other people's minds that are thinking levels above us or that are thinking like you want to think. You read their books, you consume your mind with their audios, with their podcasts. You prime your mind in your office space. You prime your mind with your alarm music that wakes you up. You prime your mind with your backgrounds and your computer screens. How do you make everything around you, internally, mentally, physically, how do you make it remind you of what you are to become, what you're striving for? That's manifestation. That's visualization. I'm always switching up my desk, but you guys see I got the $1 million chocolate bar. My son keeps asking me when we're going to open that. I say when we have $1 million month. I got Willy Wonka, who's a great presenter. I have my Wham Bam. I have my Beethoven music. I have my stopwatch. You know, you turn it around. I have the lion. I have the ace. I have the Muhammad Ali. I have the success poster. I mean, we're fully primed for what we want all around us. My phone's the same every single week in the planner. This is the same. I write the goals every single week. Even my hot list is always in front of me, so I know who I need to originate, who I need to close. Like all around me, it's almost impossible for me not to wake up motivated, or not even motivated, because sometimes there's no motivation, but to not wake up and know exactly what I need to do to get to the next step because I'm so primed by it. And then reading books and then listening to the right stuff in the gym or in the car, or talking to the right people, like all of that stuff matters. And that's why I keep bringing it up, because I've been in bad circles before. I've been in bad environments before. I've been in the slump before. And it's not easy, especially if you don't have the right support. And if you don't have the right support, then you have to create the right support internally, online, through books, through podcasts. So prime your mind for success. Number 4, I wrote down a strong introduction and a strong brand. Just like I asked those people on stage, I asked them, what makes you different than everybody else? What could you tell me in 2 minutes of having me on a phone call that makes me want to work with you? A lot of them had trouble. So if I ask you right now, I put you out here to talk, what would you say your introduction is? What is your brand? And sometimes people tell me, well, send me your brand. Well, it can't be like my brand because my brand is specific to me. You know, my brand is Alex Sharafity, and I've been consulting for the last decade. I've been a financial advisor into real estate. And my goal is not only to help you with this transaction, but it's to catapult you and your family and your life to the next level. Here's a picture of me and my family. Here's some credentials for me. Here's my reviews. And then they get another text with some tips, and like I keep it going. And my campaign is fully automated to like, hey, I'm here to help you and your family go to the next level in your life. Forget about the sale, forget about the mortgage, forget about the purchase. You want to talk to a guy like me, and that's my brand. But everybody can have their own brand and what's unique to them. So what is that brand that you can make for yourself? How could you attract a realtor? How could you attract a client on the phone? How could you attract somebody to join your team or your company? And that's one thing. If you need help creating that, tell me what you think your uniqueness is, and I'll help you create a personal brand for it or an introduction for it. Do you want to be the pricing guy? Do you want to be the value guy? Do you want to be the family guy? Do you want to be the wisdom guy or girl? Like, what do you want to be? And how are you showing that to your people? Like, as soon as they talk to you, I'm different than everybody else because of blah. What is the blah? What are you filling in there? Why are you different? How are you different? How are your texts different than mine? How's your voicemail different than mine? Like, you want to hear a banger voicemail? Listen to this. This voicemail I sent out automatically to 500 people on a Sunday morning. Is this different than everybody else's voicemail? And did I hit all targets? Ask yourself that. Happy weekend. It's Alex Sharafity giving you a call with West Capital Lending. I'm in the office for an hour or so today. If you want to text me back or call me back, I'll be here. Just so you know, if you're already working with somebody, I beat all deals in the industry. I've been doing this for 12 years, working with all the lenders across the country. I work with 500 credit scores.
I work with investment properties, commercial, personal loans, first loans, second loans, third loans. You name it, I got it. My job is to make sure what makes the most sense for you and your family. So shoot me a text back or a call back, or let's schedule some time Monday where we can connect. I really want to help you and take you and your family to the next level here. My direct line is 313-908.
Like, that's one example, waking up on a Sunday, just making a voicemail off the top. But is that voicemail different than most people out there? I think it is. I think it's more in depth. I think it's telling somebody like, hey, I don't give a shit what's going on right now. You need to call me to figure out if you're good or you're not good. Whether you work with me or not, just call me. I'm only here for 1 hour. Give me a call, shoot me a text. That voicemail got me like 3-4 deals on a Sunday. It was 3-4 hours of work. And that's just one example of plenty of voicemails that I send out and blast to people. Plenty of texts that I send. Like, I'm always trying something different. And that goes back to judgment. What am I scared of? I'm going to keep trying different things. So how do you start off your introduction? What is your brand? How do you display that through all of your communication? And how is it different than anybody else? Like, could you have something where somebody says, wow, that sounded pretty good. That was impressive. I haven't heard anything like that. That's where we want to get. Could you have your introduction or brand give the wow factor? So we got judgment, expect obstacles, prime your mind, strong introduction, strong brand, and then build relationships like no other. Build relationships like no other. The clients that I'm talking to, the relationship is so deep that I got a calendar that knows when their kids graduate school, when babies are supposed to be born. I have retirement dates. Like, these clients will be remembered forever. The relationship will last forever. I'll be helping them forever, whether it's me or people that I pass them to, or because I'm building such a strong relationship. And sometimes people tell me, well, like, look, I don't want to spend 2 hours on a phone call. Well, look, you're not getting deals anyways right now like you want. You could spend an hour on a phone call. Trust me. The extra 20 minutes makes a difference. The extra 20 minutes of digging deep with somebody, getting to really know them. Even through text, sometimes I'll get to know somebody and I'll make them laugh through text and I'll share stories through text. You have to be building great relationships with people. I called somebody live for a purchase and I built a relationship with them. And they were telling me, I asked, what's the most important part of the house to you? They immediately said the rooms for the kids. The key word was kids. I dug deep on kids. I shared story about my kids. And then the kids turned into my kids and I got stories about that. Then what's the second most important thing? The school district. What do you need about a school district? What's the most important about a school district? And that turned into baseball because his son's into baseball. Son's a great baseball player. And then that turned into, 2-car garage and why that's important. And then that turned into the budget and assets. And I turned out that he had 20,000 in the bank. He was getting another 20,000 gift from his in-laws. He was going to put all 40,000 down. I said, no. I talked about, not having assets at a time in my life. I talked about how the most important thing is to keep the 20,000 in the bank that he has. Keep your in-laws for backup. You have 3 kids. We need the security cushion. And we talked about why that's important and different things I've been through in my life. And by the end of the phone call, the gentleman was just like, man, thank you so much. In the presentation, I found him, the perfect budget, the perfect neighborhood. I even sent them 10 houses that had a good school district with a good baseball team, like custom touch presentation to the full T. Who else is sending the guy 10 houses with good school districts and good baseball teams and going that deep on a purchase transaction or any transaction at all for somebody? Do you just get somebody the watch, or do you get them the perfect watch that matches the perfect clothes? Do you learn their whole wardrobe and you learn all their events and you connect the watch to that? Like, you could use this for anything that you're selling or any service that you're doing. How are you connecting it for people and building custom emotional value based off what's important to them? And what's important to every single individual is different. So every single conversation you have should be different, custom touch approach. And I find a lot of salespeople don't do this. 90% of their things sound the same. 90% of their presentations sound the same. Number-based, savings-based, rate-based, and it's like there's no emotional touch in there. I don't know if it's because they don't care or they're not comfortable or they think the client's dry. Like, I don't know what it is that holds people back, but I do know it's fear of judgment. It goes back to fear of judgment. And again, if you really want to be successful, fear of judgment goes out the window because nothing else matters but being successful. And you'll do anything in your power to be successful. Then I wrote down custom follow-up and automated follow-up. I showed you guys last week my hot list. Custom follow-up for everybody in my hot list. Nothing's automated. If you go into my hot list, I have to think about it, see what happened last, and send a custom touch message to you. If you're not in my hot list, then I'll put you in an automatic campaign and that's going out. But the follow-up is almost like a factory line. There's messages going out in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, on Saturdays, on Sundays, on holidays. There's always things going on and moving, and the machines are working at all times. The follow-up, that's omnipresent. I'm always going to be there for people that are in my pipeline. Anybody that I buy, leads I buy, people that are referred. There's always communication going. Even my people that have future appointments with me for 2 months, they get a text message every week. Like I'm always trying, hey, don't forget me, don't forget me, don't forget me, remember me, remember me, remember me, don't forget me, don't forget me, don't forget me, remember me, remember me, remember me. To a point where sometimes they tell me like, I promise you I'm going with you and nobody else. I'm like, I know, that's not why I text you every week. I just missed you. I'm like, I make it a joke, but do you have that follow-up going at all times without skipping a beat? And then I wrote down being structured and organized. I've been at the show all day. I haven't even opened up my mortgage desktop. If I open it up, I already know what's going to happen. It's going to be fires everywhere. We're going to handle those fires. We're going to try to knock them out in 60 minutes. But I have a list written down on my schedule today, and it says, number 1, go through all text messages and respond back. Number 2, go through any new leads, call them, email them, text them, send them a quote. Number 3, go through your hot list, call everybody, text everybody one more time. Number 4, send a mass text, mass email, mass voicemail out to your cold list. Those 4 things I'll hopefully knock out in 60 minutes. Unless I write some deals, it might take 2 hours. But I'm organized. Every single day I go through that. Go through text messages, respond back. Go through hot clients, custom touch. Go through cold clients, blast out. And I'm structured and I do it all in order. Wednesdays, go through the in process. And you got to be structured. You got to have a plan and you got to follow that plan. And if that plan doesn't work, you got to change that plan. You got to be adaptable as well as structured. And that's just like for the way of executing things, but also like structured and organized in a sense where like your phone should be on do not disturb. You got to be fully focused while you're here. You can't be doing 6 things at once because it gets difficult. You can't be forgetful. You got to write things down. You got to take notes on every single client's profile because a lot of these things, it's about measuring twice and cutting once. A lot of people forget who the client is or forget what they talked about last time, and they got to go back and forth and see the numbers. Like every single time I talk to a client, they get an email with the numbers and their goals and their objections all in the email. Then I take that email, copy paste it into a text. I take that text and I copy paste it into my CRM. So as soon as a lead pops up, I know exactly what their goals were, exactly what the objections was, exactly what the details are. I never ever have a question of who this client is. I just open up my notes and I look at it. Like that's a hack to be super organized. That'll save you plenty of time in the future and save you a lot of confusion. Making a factory line process, like start your day off by doing this first, doing that first, doing that, then doing that, and do that every single day. After a certain amount of time, you'll see results. But if one day you try this, one day you don't do it, one day you don't feel good, one day you don't like, forget all of that. We could add another thing in here that I didn't write down. That's fuck your emotions. The only emotions you need are the emotions that are going to get you to win this game. And the only emotions that are going to get you to win this game are the emotions of your client or your prospect, the emotional benefits, the emotional sweet spots, their pleasure points, their pain points, and what's going to get them to say yes to your service or product. Those are the emotions that matter. Your emotions don't matter. Because whether you feel good or don't feel good, or you want to do it or you don't want to do it, none of that matters. All that matters is you know why you have to do it, and there's no other choice but to do it. You're going to get up and do it. And some days you'll feel better, some days you'll feel worse, but you say, I have no choice. This is my process. This is my structure. This is my organization, and I'm going to keep running right through it. So going backwards, we just added emotions. Use the emotions it takes to win. Be structured and organized. Follow up with custom touch and automation. Have follow up running for you at all times. Build relationships like no other. Go so deep that every single presentation is custom, different, unique to that person and what's important to that person and only that person. Pretend that your job was every single phone call has to be different and every single presentation has to be based on something different. Then how would you sell? Sell like that. Then strong introduction and strong brand. How could you make them say wow every single time? Don't forget to prime your mind or else you can't do it. Expect the obstacles, fuck the judgment. And that's how you get to sales success. That's 8 things that I believe will happen. We got a client calling live. Alex speaking.
Hi, is this Danny or Alex?
This is Alex. Who am I speaking with?
This is Gail.
Gail, how's it going?
Good. How
Oh,
about you?
you know, we're living, we're still breathing, and I got my eye very hard on your file, Gail. I am not going to give up on this until we get this deal closed. Give me the good news. What is it?
You for a caregiving job.
Okay.
They hired
Oh my God, congratulations.
and they're paying me $20 an hour.
Congratulations, that's phenomenal. Is it full time?
Yeah, it will at least be
Beautiful. Is there any way? Well, congratulations, first off. That's phenomenal news. I actually talked to your underwriter this morning. Is there any way that you could send me that offer letter so I could show it to them? And then what we'll do is, as soon as you get your first pay stub, we'll close the mortgage right after that.
Okay, well, what I need to do is I need to go to my orientation on Tuesday.
Okay?
Then I can get, the offer, the letter, because I'll tell them.
No
that I
worries.
need a letter.
That'll work.
with the
Let me write this down so I don't forget. I'm going to email my team and let them know the offer letter should be in by what? You said next week?
Well, no, I would say probably Tuesday.
Tuesday. So Tuesday next week, because today is Wednesday.
Right. Tuesday of next week.
Okay, beautiful. We're going to try to get a referral here live. Hold on.
Like that.
Okay. Well, that's great news. As soon as you get the letter, just make sure the letter has all the details inside of it with the hours, the pay rate, how many times you get paid throughout the month, bi-weekly, weekly, whatever that is. And I'll send it to my team. Yeah.
Okay, my week.
And then we should be able to close right after we get the first pay stub. And I'm so happy for you. I was keeping you in my prayers on this, and I'm so happy you got this. And I'm telling you, I'm going to try my very best to make this work. I'm going to extend the rate lock even out of my pocket for you and make sure that everything goes smooth and we don't lose the numbers I promised you.
Okay,
All righty?
so much.
No worries. Now, listen, I told you in the beginning that you get one free mortgage review when you work with me. I know a lot of people out there are struggling right now. Who do you really know from your friends or family that really needs some help right now? Maybe some cash, some savings. I just have time to call one person maybe tomorrow if you have anybody in mind.
I don't right now.
Okay.
I've been just concentrating on trying to get work and.
Of course. Yeah, no, we're definitely going to take care of you. Do you have any siblings, neighbors, friends that you think need some help?
No, but if I do, I will truly recommend you.
For sure. Yeah. I know a lot of people are struggling. They might be a little scared to say it, but if you see anybody that, may benefit from some extra cash, make sure you keep my number. When we close, I'm going to ask you again, and hopefully you'll have somebody in mind that you'll run across that maybe will need some help. And I'll ask you again in maybe a week or so. Okay. All right. Let me call my underwriters and update my team right now.
See you later.
Thank you, Gal. God bless. Like this one here was custom touch. Her whole thing was denial for debt to income. I followed up with her for 4 weeks, not on a loan or on any numbers. You know what I followed up with her on? I sent her job postings. You guys believe that? Like, this is fucking wicked. I sent this lady job postings and I helped her get a caregiver job. She went to 2 job postings. She didn't get the job. This is the 3rd one and she got it. Like, who else out there is helping somebody find a job to qualify for a damn deal? It's wicked stuff. Wicked stuff. I mean, this call was as raw as it gets when it comes to success. We went over 8 things. If you could master the 8 things, heck, if you could master 2 or 3 things out of this list, you're ahead of the population. I told you the majority of the population is behind the 8 ball. You guys are my bread and butter. You guys are my support system. You guys are considered family. And for you guys, I have your backs for whatever you need. So let me know. Keep me on the journey of your success. Look, it's as easy as recording one of your phone calls, shooting me an email saying, hey, Ace, do you mind going through my phone call and one of your calls? Like, what's holding you back? If you want feedback, you want to get better, reach out to me. We'll make it happen. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your nights. God bless.